What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild, and today is going to be Wrexham. Absolutely buzzing to get this started off because this is going to be a challenge. Our challenge is to try and win the Premier League with Wrexham in 5 seasons, or it might be 10. I don't know. We're going to win the Premier League with Wrexham. If you do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if at any point you think, Josh, I want to carry on this rebuild and get that little tactic of yours, you can come on over and join the Patreon in the link below, where you get all of these perks and obviously this stuff we've just talked about. But let's go in and learn a little bit about the mighty Wrexham. Obviously in the game, Wrexham are technically in Sky Bet League 2 with a reputation of 2.5 stars, 3-star training and 2-star youth facilities. The owners, they absolutely love the club, so that is something we all have to be proud about. Now, I have gone over and used an up-to-date database where Wrexham are going to be promoted into Sky Bet League 1 as they are in real life, and that obviously is going to be quite a big challenge because we're going up a whole division, and of course, if you know me, I do not sign any players, so we are going to try and add to this variety of other trophies they have won, which, to be fair, they have won quite a fair few trophies, but of course our aim is to try and add a Premier League into this cabinet. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know Wrexham too well. I never pretend that I know a team if I don't know a team. I know a few of their players. For example, obviously, Mullin, you sort of have to know. I've seen Rathbone as well, and I've also seen Boyle. I've seen those players, but of course, what we're going to do is for the first season, we're not in Sky Bet League 2. We are in Sky Bet League 1. So I feel like we can take the game to them. We've got a decent team, which I think can get promoted from Sky Bet League 1 into the Championship. Whether that means winning it, doing it through playoffs, second place, whatever it is, I feel like we can get the job done. So we are going to play quite an aggressive 4-3-3 that is purposely made for this Wrexham team. With a higher line, we're going to be passing into the space, getting the ball into the box, because let's not face it, let's not beat around the bush. Mullin is a fantastic poacher. He's got great finishing and great composure. His acceleration and pace aren't the best, but he can put the ball in the back of the net. Now, of course, as I said, despite having a budget of, well, 200k, not too much anyway, we are going to sign no players going into this first season in Sky Bet League 1. What I've also going to say is the contract situation I am going to go ahead and deal with, because we have got a lot of players here that are very short on contract, and of course the last thing I want is for players to be leaving mid-season. So I'm going to offer every single player a new contract that I think deserves one, using the money we have been given. So I will make that very clear and maybe very honest where the money does go. And what we're going to aim for this first season, using this tactic and looking at this team, I'm going to aim for promotion back-to-back seasons. Of course, we've done this one through the game from Sky Bet League 2. We're now in Sky Bet League 1. Let's go and see what we've done in Sky Bet League 1 in Season 1. I'm sorry, but I'm going to show you this game. We didn't win the FA Cup, but this was in, I believe, like the second round. We went and actually beat West Ham 4-0. So I'm going to show you the goals, because you can actually see this tactic working very well with the group of players we have now, with no actual real necessity, you know, big quality. We have actually come out and beat West Ham 4-0. And some of the goals I'm seeing, I'm looking at these players and thinking, do you know what? Let's just keep the same players. We're absolutely running through West Ham. It's a big achievement. They're playing Alvarez. They're playing a decent team here, and we've made it look too easy. That's a very good sign. Yeah, then we progress and we get knocked out by Plymouth, so maybe it was a game, a pure luck game, to be fair. I have seen Vitor Roque has gone to Ipswich, which is very interesting, but yeah, we'll humble ourselves quite quickly. The league, though, we have come out and actually we've got promoted. We didn't win it. We were a few points behind Bristol City. Paul Mullin comes in with 35 league goals, and McLean and Elliot Lee and Connor are all going to pick up the most assists. And you know what? That is exactly what I wanted to do. We signed no new players. We got 11 draws and 6 losses, 29 wins. Actually very close with Bolton there. Nearly we got dragged down to the playoff sort of scrap, but the goal difference was the thing that saved us, and we are going to get back-to-back promotions. The rest of the cups weren't really too impressive, apart from one massive stampeding against West Ham, which I will take. I'm still going to talk about that. It's a very good game, but we've got the job done. Our budget is looking like this. £7 million, 7.7 million actually, is actually quite a bit of money to go and spend in the Championship. Of course, the squad we can see, 37 from Big Paul coming in, and actually he's wanted by Millwall. I'm hoping he won't go. And again, it's 14, 14, 13, 12. This is immaculate to see from a team where, again, I'm not saying the players are bad, but we're not talking about world-class players here. This is what I love to see, and the same story is being told in the assists. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players there with 10 plus assists. Of course, we've got James McLean, who is 37 years of age now, so probably his last season and our top assister, which is never nice to see because you know you're going to be missing that, if not next season, definitely the season after. But of course, when he's putting up their numbers, he's still in contract for another 2 years, so technically he should still be playing, but we'll see what happens. Of course, I look at the team we've got today and it's got us to a very good level so far. Obviously, it is literally 1 season in, but realistically, we are now in the Championship, which of course is a different ballgame. It's one of the hardest leagues to get promoted from. It's a complete rat race to the top, and it's going to be quite hard to put off a treble back-to-back promotion party. So we'll see what we can do. I'm looking at this team, and realistically, if we go onto the homepage, we were the best at scoring goals, the 4th best at conceding. So defensively, we definitely need to improve. Maybe goalkeeper, definitely right back, because that is our best right back, and hopefully we can go and sort of target these players, bring a load of players in. But also, we're going to have to see what happens, because usually when you get promoted to the Championship, some of these players start to sort of jump boat a little bit and they decide to go to other teams. Maybe some of them get a Premier League call up. They're in hot form. We're going to try our best to keep who we can because we've got a real good project here. So let's get into Season 2 and see what we can do. But I will say, a very, very good Season 1 and it's back-to-back promotions. The next 4 signings you're going to see are actually free signings. Starting off with Luke Cundle, coming in from the likes of Wolves. He come in and actually played 22 games for us, 1 goal and dropped a 6.7. Now, I will say he's a midfield player. I'm not expecting him to score 10, 20 goals a season. He actually done quite well. So well done, Luke. Fabio Tavares also did come in. He come in from Coventry and didn't really do too much. He played 3 games. I really brought him in as a backup striker, where if we did need to turn to him to get a goal, he would be there. But to be honest, I don't think he played too much, and I will say it, he's flopped big time, but he still holds some pretty good attributes, so I'm not going to sell him or get rid of him, but not the best signing. Good signing was Joe Rothwell, coming in from the likes of Bournemouth. He come in on the free and played a ton of games for us, scoring a ton of goals as well, 18 and 12 assists. 18 goals, that is, and 12 assists. And Joe Rothwell may have made all the difference because he absolutely cooked in that sort of attacking sort of role in the team. And do you know what? He is 32, and I usually wouldn't sign players that are this old, but on the free, it's got to be done. You can't attract a Cole Palmer to Wrexham. You've got to take your Joe Rothwells. We also go over and pick up Mason Bennett, who I do feel didn't have the best season from Burton. He come in with 16 appearances, 2 goals, and 1 player of the match. And I will say, this player did not do too well. He's on a fair bit of money per week as well, so I might look to offload him. Again, it wasn't a guaranteed first team sort of start and vibe, but he really has let me down, and I'm going to try and offload him because 12 grand is 12 grand. Getting into the signings where we did spend money on them, the first one is going to be Andy Lyons, coming in from the likes of Blackpool. We spent 350k. He played a ton of games, 7.4 average rating, 12 assists and 7 goals. And what I will say is he looks incredibly balanced. 14 grand a week is a fair bit of money, but what I will say is for a right back and a left back, he has done incredibly well. I will say, to pick up that amount of assists and goals from right or left back, very versatile. And you know what? I'm not going to put him on the same level, but he reminds me a bit like Aaron Hickey. You know, one of them players in their sort of 25 sort of year, 26 year age, and he can play on the right, play on the left, quite quick. Not as good as Hickey, of course, but still a very, very good player and made all the difference. And our last signing, and he cost me virtually nothing. In fact, I think it was like 20 grand, £11,000 from Burnley. He played a ton of goals and actually dropped a decent rating, 22 clean sheets out of 45 games, nearly half a clean sheets, a very, very, very strong performance. And do you know what? I'm looking at the signings we've done now. We brought in a ton of players. We lost 1 player here in James Jones, who did go on the free to Patrick, I believe, there. And he went over and he done okay, nothing too special really. But we've brought in so many new faces, only lost 1, surely with more depth, we've at least been competitive in the Championship. Let's go and find out. Well, forget being competitive, we're winners. We are going to win again on goal difference, very comfortable on goal difference, I will say. And it is going to be Paul Mullin again with 29 goals in the league alone. McLean coming in with 22. We've got Seb Revan coming in with 14 and Rathbone with 13 assists. Our new goalkeeper, our brand new goalkeeper, most clean sheets with 22, of course, as we discussed, and a very, very, very good season, which I am I'm a little bit nervous. Don't usually get shaky, but I'm a little bit nervous now because we are going into the Premier League and we have got nowhere near a Premier League winning team. Let me tell you that. This next season is going to be begging for survival. I don't care if we finish 1 point above the zone. I just want to survive in the Premier League. They have given us a budget of 46 million, which is pretty fair, to be honest, for a first season in the Premier League, which might give us enough to attract some players in. The rest of the competitions, they were pretty average, but you look at the teams we play against, 2 quarterfinals, one against West Ham, which, don't get me wrong, we did dismantle the season before, but obviously they have improved. And Arsenal, well, we're never going to beat Arsenal just yet, but realistically, this is where I am a little bit worried because Paul Mullin, yes, he's scoring 32 goals in a season. Remarkable. James McLean, 24 goals. But he's now retiring, so we're not going to have him. And Paul Mullin, can he do it in the Premier League at the age of 32? It's a very, very big ask. 20 coming in for Elliot Lee, and Joe Rothwell also coming in with 20 there. A fantastic debut season. A load of assists from a variety of players. A real strong season. But once again, I've done it again, and I don't do it on purpose, but I thought it said Cole Palmer then, Ollie Palmer. We're looking at this now, and we've got to worry up until 2027, and we have got a lot of players that, you know, are out of contract. And I will say, when you get into the Premier League, this is when people do start to divert off. They want to leave. They want more unreasonable demands because they're a Premier League player and all of this stuff going on. And we've only got 46 million, and that might sound like a lot of money, but it's honestly not a lot of money. 46 million can get you so far. But when you're actually looking at this team, if I filter by the best 11 right now, be honest with me. Be honest in the comments. This is not a Premier League winning team. It's not even a Premier League team that might survive in the Premier League. We're going to need to bring in a lot of cheap but good potential signings, potentially in every position. The only real secure positions is maybe I take a punt on Paul to play in the Premier League for a season. Dobson looks very, very good as well, to be fair. We've got some good players. Andy looks good at right back, but we're talking about defending in the Championship opposed to defending against Jeremy Doku or Martinelli. It's a big step up. So let's get into Season 3 and try and spend this money very wisely. So miracles clearly did happen because we managed to only lose one player in Anthony Ford, who is 34. He goes over to the Irish League and plays a couple of, you know, he does okay. He does pretty average, but you know what? We've only lost one player out of all of those players that we could have lost. It's, first of all, we've done a good job there, but who did we bring in? First up, we pick up Calvin Ramsey. Again, a very, very solid right back from Scotland. He come in for free from Sheffield Wednesday and played a ton of Premier League games, 4 assists and dropped a 6.66. For a first season in the Prem, for us that is, that's a remarkable season, of course. A previous Liverpool player, I will say, that's quite a good season. Fair play. Money to bring this lad in, but of course it is going to be Fermin, a very good Spanish player coming in from Barcelona, and Barcelona B, of course. He come in and played 34 games, dropped 6 goals, 6 assists, 6.66 when it comes to the average rating. All of the 6s coming out. And what I will say is, for an entry season, it's okay. It's decent. I'm not going to expect too much. We only forked out, what, 900k for him. He's a player who is incredibly versatile, can play in 4 positions of the same ability, and also, if you really needed it, could play up front. He looks decent, and hopefully he stays. Also picked up Tawanda Mamwish, I believe that's how you say that, coming in from the likes of Motherwell for 3.4 million. Now, this isn't bad. He only played 20 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, and 6.86 when it comes to the average rating. He didn't play all the games in the Prem. He's got very good attributes, and I think, do you know what? He's actually a decent Premier League player. I think that is actually quite a good sign, and again, only costed me 3 million. To pick up Alino Sosa, coming in from Arsenal, of course, originally, but we picked him up from Preston for 1.3 million. He played 20 games, didn't do too well in those games, pretty average, I will say, but overall, again, he is a young left back, and we can't go out and sign incredible young talent. We have to pick up the sort of not so well-known talent, shall we say. Again, he looks really, really good, but unfortunately, the first season was average. Next up is going to be Edison Ferreira Lima. I believe that's how you say that. Ferreira Lima, coming in from the likes of Bar. No, I'm not a sheep. 3.8 million, 24 appearances, 6.78, 1 goal, 1 assist, For a centre-back, again, I will say a fairly average display, and the down arrows, they're going down. They're going down big time, so I would imagine he started off quite well, and he's dropped off a little bit, maybe didn't play as much because now his current ability is also going down the pan. We forked out a total of 3.8 million. Definitely going to make sure I'm doing some training on him because we can't afford to keep letting players, you know, go like this, but then come all the way down. We can't let it happen. So I'm going to pick up Basio, coming in from the likes of Venezia, coming in for 4.1 million, 19 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists, 6.8 when it comes to that average rating. And again, for a midfield player, very, very versatile, can play DM, can play a bit more pushed up, or even really pushed up in an AP role. He come in and he done okay. Let's look again. I mean, it's average, isn't it? His average rating is very average. The stats aren't going to, you know, make you write home about him, but it's okay for a first season. The next 2 signings are free, starting off with Zivkovic, coming in from the likes of, is that POK Athens? Is how you say that? On the free, 37 appearances, and oh boy, he stunk the gaff up a little bit. He played almost every game, 3 goals and 4 assists, dropping a 6.6. He actually looks really good. He's not the most pacey winger, but he does make up for it with decent dribbling, good composure, good technique, good vision, good bit of flair on him. But I would imagine maybe at 31, the Premier League move might have been too much of a gamble. But I had to bring bodies in. We had no depth, and these were the only options that were interested and we could afford. The signing I'm confident in, and not many people back anymore, is going to be Kone, coming in on £37,000 a week. Another midfield player coming in on the free from Marseille, where he played 31 games, 4 goals and 6 assists. Now, although the average rating is similar to the rest, from a sort of defensive perspective, that's quite a lot of assists and goals. So I will take the punt on him. And if you're wondering why, Josh, why did you sign so many midfield players? We play 3 in midfield. Some of these players we brought in can also play out on the wide areas. And I'm looking at the signings now and I'm thinking, Josh, you might be thinking as well, Josh, you had 40 million. Why not spend it? It was hard to get anyone to sign for a newly promoted Premier League team. So we've gone with what we've gone with. And I would say probably 50%, 60 if we're being generous, would have really helped the team. The rest were very iffy, so I'm actually quite nervous we even are still in the Premier League. So let's go and have a little look. We're going to look at that first. Well, we're going to look at it from this page because we can obviously scroll down bit by bit and sort of see where we are. Now, you can see by the cups, we're not even going to talk about the cups because, let's face it, it was not a pretty season and definitely not the focus. So congratulations to Liverpool and Chelsea, Arsenal and Manchester United for getting in the top 4. Oh, wow, okay. We survived by a point. Leeds, Bristol and Middlesbrough are going to go down. We survived by a point, and I would imagine, yeah, we're going to have no stats in our favour apart from yellow cards. And if my webcam's blocking it up, I will call out what's happened. Calvin Ramsey, 11 yellow cards. Sousa, 9, and also Brunt with 9. We were putting in awful challenges, apparently, and we have survived by 1 point, only winning 9 games and losing 24 games. Now, this is not a tactic issue, it is purely a player issue. We are the worst when it comes to conceding goals, the worst when it comes to bookings, and 10th best when it comes to scoring goals. And I would imagine the squad stats, oh, this is ugly. I have not seen such so unattractive. 13 goals as a top goal scorer from a 33-year-old striker, and the assists, 6 assists coming in from Firmin. And I just hope we've got a big budget. I need 60 okay, it's like magic. Oh, more than that, actually. Okay, 97 million I will take. That is the one bonus of managing Wrexham. They've got a lot of the old Cashola coming in, and we need it because this team right now, filtered by the best 11, it's got worse. We've clearly had players leave or leaving. This team is not good enough to be anywhere near competitive for even a top 10 finish, let alone winning the Premier League. That is not good. I mean, it's our first season. I don't know why I'm being so negative. It's our first season. We were not going to obviously get Champions League football, but we have survived by a point, and literally a point. Leeds would have obviously been up there on goal difference as well, and yeah, it's not a pretty season. Nothing too much to talk about, to be honest with you. Let's just get into the next window and not forget that this happened, but we'll just sugarcoat this one. We survived That's all that matters. Stop actually bringing in a very good right back is going to be Malo Gusto. Now, he didn't, I would say, develop the best of the best in this save, but we did pick him up for a total of 5 million. He has come in and played 35 games and dropped a high 6 average rating, which is better than our previous right back. And now him and Ramsey are good, 2 solid right back options. So welcome in Malo Gusto. If you played Football Manager, you probably signed this guy, especially if you are playing as a smaller team. Taylor Harwood-Bellis is going to come in for 9 million. He played every Premier League game, no games really in the Cup, and dropped a 6.91. Again, we're getting up to the 7 sort of now, and you know what? It's not a bad entry season. He's always very good in the game as well, so I'm confident he has done at least somewhat of a good job. Where we really needed it was getting a better goalkeeper, and we pick up Gavin Buzanu coming in from the likes of Southampton for 6.7 million, and he has dropped quite a decent season, to be fair. 38 appearances, 14 clean sheets, 6.91. Again, he's a goalkeeper that is 27, so still quite young for a goalkeeper. He's a leading Sky Bet Championship player, but miles better than our previous goalkeeper, and hopefully that stops some of the goals going in. A free signing is going to be Casadei, coming in from the likes of Torino on the free. He come in and impressed me. 37 games, 7 goals, 9 assists, 3 player of the matches, and dropped a 7.01 average rating. And he looks like an absolute monster in midfield. Rock solid centre-back. 2 really good centre-backs were brought in now. We are going to bring in Jean-Paul Van Hecke, coming in from Bologna for 15 million. A big signing. 38 appearances, 3 goals, and a 6.91. A pretty average season based off an average rating, but you look at this man, as long as you've got someone next to him with a little bit of pace, he will be incredible. He's not that quick, but his tackling's incredible. He's got good work rate. He's got good everything, bar the acceleration and the pace. And do you know what? He is a bit on the older side, but he's played with some big teams now, and he brings a bag load of experience. And lastly, it is going to be Christopher Askadilson, that's how you say that, coming in from Midtjylland on the free, where he has come in and done very well. 38 appearances, 8 goals, 10 assists, and dropped a 7.18 average rating. And what I will say with this lad is, this is probably our best signing. Looking at everyone, I will say we have signed some very good players. We've obviously got a brand new goalkeeper, good midfielder. I've missed this guy. I missed the star man. There you go, a little surprise. Omega as well, coming in from the likes of PSV. Now that is our best signing, he scored 18 goals in his first season. How did I forget him? What a man. I must have completely clicked over him. That is definitely going to be our best signing, followed by Christopher. And what I will say here, we have brought in incredible players, a great midfielder, great centre-back, another great midfielder, an immaculate striker, fantastic goalkeeper, another good centre-back, and a decent right-back. Surely, with all of these positions being added into the team, and again, only still with losing this player who is now actually an assistant manager, we must have done better in the Premier League. I am going to predict a 12th place finish. Let's go and see what we've done. Well, it goes to show one real big window and you can change your team. We are all the way up into 5th place and Wrexham are in the Champions League. And what I will say is the man who I slated last year is actually the Premier League top assister. So we just needed a season to get used to it. We've got our goalkeeper in 3rd place with the clean sheets, and do you know what? Considering last season's losses, we only lost 8 games this season, which is absolutely remarkable stuff. What a difference these signings have made. The rest of the competitions, that looks beautiful seeing the Champions League. The 3rd round in the FA Cup, it was awful, and the quarterfinals in the Carabao Cup, again, not too promising, but I sort of don't care about those trophies at the moment because I'm focused on getting into the top 4. Yes, we've got Champions League, but I actually want to see myself in the top 4 in the game. And what I will say is we can now be proud because we are not relying on Paul Mullin, who is now 34 and I would imagine is going to leave at any moment. 18 goals for Omega. We've got Christopher coming in with 11, 8 for Mullin. We've obviously got the new man, or the new man from last season, the winger, 7 and 16. A real good set of stats. I will say once again, you're never going to win a league like this because you've got 1 player, 2 players really carrying the goals, and they're still not scoring 20 plus goals a season. He is now wanted by Wolves and a Saudi team, so that is going to be difficult to keep him. But you look at the man, he looks incredible, so I can see why people want him. The only benefit, if we do sell him, I'm hoping we get at least 50 to 60 million. I would not sell him for anything less, because he was probably the reason why we done so well in this season. We can't forget that. Now, of course, filtered by the best 11, going into what is going to be the next season, we can actually see that he's going to be in the team, obviously, alongside a new goalkeeper, Gusto, Harwood, Bellis, Van Hecke, Sousa at left back, Basio, we've got Christopher, we've got Kasady, we've got Manwanchi, we've got Zivkovic and Omega. Now, what I will say is, on the bench, it's very, very weak. You can probably see on your screen right now, unless you're just listening, you've got a load of players that are very low on the attributes. Not really good players at all. Now, I'm hoping, I've not checked yet, but look at the budget together. 59 million is an okay amount. It's not game-changing, because we're still in a very awkward situation where, realistically, we need a brand new left wing to actually get into the first team, and we're in that awkward situation where this player here, it's not even really good enough to be a backup, so we're going to have to do a lot of offloading, I think, and sort of really analyse this team, because the one thing I don't want to happen is to go up into the 5th finish, for example, and then we start falling off and drop down to 10th, 11th, and of course, we're now in the Champions League, so we've really got to remember it's another competition, and we're still trying to win the Premier League. Let's get in to the next season and see what we can do. On the free, we are going to pick up Diakby, that's how you say that. Sorry if there's a bit of a twang on the accent there. Coming in from Valencia on the free, he played every Premier League game. He did not play a single cup game, I will say, because I was making sure he was playing, because he probably is our best centre-back. He's an absolute machine with 15 tackling, good acceleration and good pace. He done a relatively good job. Is it enough to win a Premier League? I honestly don't know, but to start with on the free, welcome him in. Another free signing, purely for experience, is going to be Højbjerg, coming in from the likes of Marseille. Again, played a ton of games, dropped a good amount of goals, good amount of assists, and again, you are getting a player that has played for some really big teams. Marseille, Tottenham, Southampton, Bayern, some real big teams, and do you know what? We're glad to have him here. Our first paid signing is going to be Nene, coming in from the likes of RB Salzburg, £14 million, dropped a ton of goals. No, let's calm down. 8 goals, not a ton of goals, 5 assists and a 6.97 average rating. He's a player that impresses me a lot. He is quick, his finishing, it can do with a little bit of work. His composure is really good. He can play on the right, can play up front, can play on the left. He's a very good player. Reminds me a bit like João Pedro in the way that he can play in several positions. So welcome in, Nene. The rock-solid centre-back is going to be Van der Berg, coming in at the age of 28 for £16 million, 27 appearances, 1 assist and a 6.85 average rating. Again, a very good player who can play right-back, but I wouldn't play him there because he's a little bit slow. But very similar to our previous signing, Van Hecke, he is not the quickest, but defensively, still very solid, and one of the few players that actually was, well, very interested in joining. A backup left back is vital, and again, another previous Tottenham man. Maybe not the smartest move to be bringing in Tottenham players that have never really won a trophy. That is going to be Reguilon, coming in for 6.7 million, 33 appearances, 2 assists, and dropped a 6.82. So he's shut me up right away, because he's coming at the age of 33 and actually dropped quite a good Premier League display. And lastly, coming in for 10.5 million is going to be Diego Cali, coming in as a goalkeeper. So good competition, 10.5 million. Played 5 appearances, a lot more in the cups, 13 conceded, 6.62. For a backup goalkeeper, I will take it. He's only 25. He's still classed as a decent Premier Division player. And I look at this, we've brought in several players. We've lost no other players. We've strengthened some more. So I'm hoping we have had a good season. We need to remember right now that we did play the Champions League, so we are going to have a lot more stress on the players. So if we have dropped down, I'm not going to panic unless we've dropped down to like 14th or something. We are going to be quite calm. Again, if you are enjoying so far, please do leave a like and subscribe, because it helps out massively. But let's go and find out how we done. So we actually get to the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal, where unfortunately, due to just a good bit of pressing from Magno, he gets the goal and we lose in the final. The first time in the Champions League, we do get out of the phase path, which is very good, but unfortunately knocked out in the round of 16. But do you know what? We didn't get battered. A 2-1 defeat against Chelsea. We've done very well in the build-up phase. It's quite a good season. The FA Cup, we might be cursed in, as we do not get past the 4th qualifying round. I believe we got against... Where do we actually go here? Is it the 4th round, actually? The 4th round, not the qualifying round. Against Coventry, a 2-1 defeat. And the Premier League, we have dropped down a place, but we are still in that mix Now in the Europa League, we are going to be in 6th place, but of course, that is 5 seasons done. But I never give up. I never let you down. We're going to play another season and attempt. We're going to play as many seasons, and we're going to try and win this Premier League. We've dropped down 1 place, and it might be because of the stress of playing in the Champions League. Of course, getting to a final means more games played as well. I will say Omega has come in and literally nearly got top goal scorer. So a real big sort of sign in there. Shaquille Van Persie is thriving at Tottenham, and it's just interesting to see the players that have been brought in. But overall, it's a season I can be somewhat proud of. We've been quite good in the Champions League. You know, we've got out of the phase, we've got into the round of 16. Runners up in the Carabao Cup is a good sort of display. This is shocking. The Premier League, again, we are Wrexham. We've got to be humble. It's still a very good season. The squad, though, I will say, once again, Omega, the man who is now probably wanted again by Villa, Brentford, yeah, it'll be very hard to keep him. Very hard to keep him now, but he has scored 33 goals and 10 assists. 14 and 8, 13 and 10, 11 and 3, 14 assists from the man who I slated coming in. He's still putting up very good stat lines, and 11 assists down here for Malo Gusto. A fantastic season for this individual. And what I will say is, Nene, the new man, dropped some decent stats as well. But if we look at the contracts, we're going to worry up until 2030. We have got the likes of... We've got a few players actually here who can go. In fact, a lot of them could be moved on. So we're not really going to stress about the contracts going into what is going to be the 6th season. We have been given a budget of £86 million to go and spend. And what I'm noticing from this is, if I do this and show it, we have got a lot of older players, and the issue I'm sort of running into at the moment is I'm building these players, you know, getting them used to the team, they're getting used to my system, and they're coming in and they're doing well, but then they're getting older and older and older very quickly. So we are going to focus on bringing in younger players that maybe might result in me dropping down for another season, you know, going down into 8th or 9th place as they build up. But the following season, we can actually go and push for the Premier League title. Something, of course, which Arteta has been trying to do. Something like that as an example. The tactic has changed a little bit, by the way, as now we have dropped that higher line and gone with a standard line, a lot more sort of calm and composed. But we are going to get into the 6th transfer window with £84 million. The finances look pretty healthy, to be fair. Let's go over and see what we can do, because we're now really pushing to try and at least get in the top 4. So outgoings, the first one is going to be Josh Adam in the little Man City shirt there. He's going to go on the free to Greenock Morton, where he played 31 games and actually played pretty well. But do you know what? He was never going to get in our team. I've gone with youngsters, and if you like Wonder Kids, you're going to want to pick up this save file from the Patreon, because you're going to be in Wonder Kid heaven. So much potential. This is going to be Tom Green. Let me tell you about Big Tom, okay? He's an incredible midfield player with a ridiculous set of stats in the mental. He's an absolute unit. He comes in and he plays 19 appearances, dropped over a 7 match rating in his first season as an 18-year-old. Now that is incredible. Welcome in, Tom, and he only cost me £6 million. Next up is going to be another wonder kid, is going to be Marcelo. Maybe a regen. It isn't of the actual prime Marcelo, but he comes in for £14 million, and he actually played every single game and dropped nearly a 7 rating. He has got 14 acceleration, 12 pace, 17 strength, 16 tackling at the age of 21. Only on £47,000 a week. This is a centre-back for the future and for the current. Another wonder kid with tons of potential, and to be honest, between me and you, didn't have the best season, but just look at the physical. 15 acceleration, great pace, good agility, good balance, fantastic finishing, good composure, amazing technique. He come in and actually played 34 appearances, 4 goals and 2 assists, dropped a decent rating, but again, for £27 million, not an immaculate first season, but he's doubled in value, and again, is still only 21. Welcome into Putra. The wonder kid signing is going to be Ilic, coming in from the likes of Partizan, a Serbian player, 35 appearances, dropping a 7.2, 5 goals, 5 assists, and again, he is 21 years of age, and what I am doing right now is getting a lot of young talent in this Wrexham team to hopefully win the Premier League one day. Again, we're not expecting to win the Premier League just yet, but that is an immaculate player, and what a signing that is. And you wait until the next signing, because we have brought one of the hottest prospects in the Premier League to Wrexham. Who says it can't be done? Jeremy Doku, of course, now is 29 in the game, and that is why we're able to get him. £50 million we spent on this man. 38 appearances, 11 goals, 3 assists, and 2 player of the matches, a 7.16 average rating. He's on 140 grand a week, making him the highest paid player by quite some distance. He had an okay season, not an electric season, but I'm going to see what we've done before I judge him, because do you know what? It's not horrific, and I'm looking at the players we've brought in over the past couple of seasons. Surely we're in the Champions League now. Well, we actually got all the way to the Europa League final, where unfortunately we are going to lose against Manchester United, but on penalties. That is a remarkable run. Fair play to the lads. Into the FA Cup final, where again Manchester United are going to be the team that we are facing, and Marcus Rashford is going to come out and put on quite a good display there to make it 1-0. We are going to bounce back though with Doku going through and lashing it past Onana. A great goal there to make it 1-1. Doku again turning his man inside into Nene, who is going to make it 2-1 to the mighty Wrexham. They are going to go through here with some very good regen players on the cards, I will say, to make it 2-2 there. So an all tied up game. Fundy, a big Robbo favourite there, into Yates, is going to go through back in the middle, and it is going to be a fantastic finish for them, making it 3-2. So at the moment, they are in the lead, but we equalise bang on in the 97th minute, and look who got the winner for us. The man I slated, it is going to be him now. We're going to be FA Cup winners. Get in there. The Carabao Cup, we didn't do bad, but we didn't do amazing. We are going to go out to Crystal Palace. But we win the Premier League. Caught you off guard. Premier League champions. 26 wins, 5 draws, and 7 losses. And you know what? Yes, it's by a point. Do I care? I don't care. I do not care at all, because we have come out. Højbjerg has got the most assists out of anybody in the Premier League. Omega is going to be the second top goal scorer, and we can be proud. 2 trophies in 1 season. Premier League winners in season 6. And I will say that looks beautiful, alongside of the Sky Bet Championship, the Sky Bet League 1, and of course the FA Cup. Look at the trajectory, the line going up. We have done absolutely amazing. Goals wise, 55 from Omega, Doku with 24, Nene with 19, 17, Tom Green with 11, 11, 11, incredible scenes. Højbjerg, 23 assists, 22. It's an absolute stellar season, and what a sign off. If you are going to carry on back home, you've got 50 million, more than 50, you've got 54 million pounds to spend, an array of young and experienced players. You've got some incredible wonder kids to play with, and your challenge is going to be to win a European trophy. So that's going to be your challenge. Send me your screenshot when you got it done, because I do give away random prizes to winners, and it is absolutely incredible. It means the absolute world you tuning into this video, and I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm so excited. Wrexham are going to be your Premier League winners. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Wrexham, all the way to the top.